okay? Do take a little bit of time to read what I may have put, okay? By the way, I forgot to mention the other time, okay, how I go about doing my marking. Okay, so if I write a letter C at the top of your homework, right? Okay, that means corrections. So C for corrections. Okay, that means you need to do corrections for some of the questions that are wrong. Okay, if I had actually maybe filled out the gaps for you already, then by all means, it's for you to pay attention to that. Okay, no need to do correction for it. Okay, but then for those that I did not do the correction on your behalf, okay, please go and do your correction. Okay, the questions will tend to be circled. Sometimes because I mark too fast, I may have forgotten to circle. Okay, but most of it I will have circled it. Then please do your corrections. Once you're done with corrections, then just file your homework into your file. Okay, at a certain point in time, at the end of this term, I will collect your file for checking. Okay, and then I also then mark your corrections. Right? Okay, hang on. Alright, I just want to give a few feedback about your exercise 2A first, okay? For exercise 2A, right, okay, generally, it was okay, not so much of an issue. However, for exercise 2A question 20, okay, just want to highlight how we go about drawing our tree diagram. Okay, for our tree diagram drawing, please make sure you have headers. Okay, which many of you don't. So first cut, second cut, these headers are missing, and then 1, 3, 5 is narrow. And then for the second cut will be 1, 2, and 7. Okay. For tree diagrams, even the other exercises, please try to draw it in a more aligned manner. Okay. While most of the time, but I dare not say that all the time, okay, the tree diagram is already printed. What is required of you to do for exam, okay, is to fill in the blanks for the probability. Okay, but I dare not say that all the time it will be that way. Okay, if you're going to be required to draw a tree diagram, please draw it neatly. Some of you draw it like in a circular manner. Okay, that's a bit difficult to read lah. Okay, then I don't know how you follow the branches also. It's meant to help us. And then in question 20, you are supposed to have a sum column and a product column as well. Okay, I think one person went on to do a possibility diagram for sum and product. Well, that's fine, okay, but you're not using the tree diagram, you see. So in this case, we should be having this. Otherwise, your parts C to G, I don't know how you actually went about getting your probability. Okay. So that's for question 20 about your probability or your tree diagram. Okay. Then next, exercise 2B. Just a point to note about question 8. I know that you don't have the textbook, okay, like me. Let me flip to mine. Okay. For question 8, part I, the question asks, explain why there are more than 3 teams in the tournament. Okay. Some of you just say that the sum is not equal, it's not equals to 1. Okay. You just simply say that. Okay. So question 8. Let me write the question. Explain why there are more than 3 teams in the tournament. Okay. You need to really explain the situation, explain the context. There's a lack of explanation, okay, in most of your answers. You need to say that since only one team can win, the events of winning, or the events of each team winning, are mutually exclusive. It's important to actually state this. Okay? In fact, you cannot just tell me that the events are mutually exclusive. You need to really explain and dive deeper into why is it that the events are actually mutually exclusive. Okay? And it is mutually exclusive because the context itself is such that only one team can win. So use the context. Okay? Use the maths term. Okay? Okay? So this statement is actually very essential. Then it will actually make sense over why you go about doing your calculations, okay, of 4 over 15 plus 1 over 10 plus 1 over 5. State out what is it that you get, 17 over 30, which is less than 1. Okay? State probability of alpha wins. Beta. Gamma wins. Okay. Then you conclude that there are more than 3 teams in the competition. Okay? So you need to give a fuller explanation now. Cannot just give me a calculation. Okay? The calculation you need to be able to show and demonstrate that you can interpret why you're doing this calculation. Okay? Okay, so next for part 3, also another explanation question. Okay, I think that most of you have the idea about why is it that this probability doesn't work, and the reason is because the events are not mutually exclusive. Okay, meaning to say that alpha doesn't win, gamma doesn't win, they can happen at the same time. Okay, so to go about explaining in a more succinct manner, right? Okay, you can say that the events of alpha and gamma, or gamma, sorry, not winning, are not mutually exclusive. Okay, some of you even brought in about beta, but actually you're deviating from the main point of the question now. Okay? So you see, you cannot just state that they are not mutually exclusive. You need to go on, okay, to provide the context. Okay, since there will be more than one team that will not win. Okay, so this is the bare minimum that I would expect when it comes to explaining for this question. So again, emphasizing to you, are not mutually exclusive. This one is where you use math knowledge. Okay, and then you link it with the context. Okay. questions regarding this? Okay, so I hope that I give better clarification about how we go about explaining. Okay, I think that it's really important for us to learn how to explain according to context. Okay, if you had the opportunity later on, right, okay, when you look at your 10-year series, looking at just last year's 2022 O-level paper itself, you find that there are a lot of questions that require explaining, and you cannot actually skip through them. Okay, and they all, take up a significant percentage in your paper weightage. Okay, so I also have some of you who always give up on such questions. Okay, I do urge you to actually try to write something, okay, so that I can give you the feedback and provide you the direction of how to go about framing it. Okay, if you don't write, then there's no way for me to teach you, and then it will just be your pure memory work. But then why do we want to go about purely relying on memory when in the first place the same context will not repeat? Okay, so we need to have that skill in knowing how to frame out the whole thing. Okay. Okay, then lastly, exercise 2C, right? I don't have much issue. It's really just the 3 diagrams, okay, that I really read until my eyes pop out. Okay, especially question 17. Okay, those that really make the effort to draw it neatly, I do make the effort to mark as well. Those that draw it until I cannot read, okay, for my old eyes, okay, sorry, I really struggle with reading it at night. Okay, so I do look at every single numerator, denominator that you have for question 17. Okay, so do look at it carefully. Then then also, okay, for this exercise 2C, right, do have your working in it. I do have 1 or 2 students don't have any of the step of working. Okay, you give me final answer only. You might as well just go and cut out your answer key from the back of your textbook and then submit to me. Okay, so please do your working. Okay, otherwise I also don't know what you end up calculating. And all these working are critical steps, okay, for gaining any marks as well. Okay, so that's all for this chapter 2 homework. Any questions regarding it? Okay, if you find that it's just a very personal question regarding your homework, then you can call me after class also. Okay, alright, let's move on back to our A-Maths. I want to apologize that I did not have the time to upload the video